really love that movie. It's one of the better adaptations of Stephen King's work.
Stephen King's It, a movie I remember fondly from my early teens. I saw the remake with Bill Skarsgård, and he also did a fantastic job with the character Pennywise. He seems a lot more psychotic and chaotic. My biggest problem was probably the extreme overuse of CGI. And I don't think that the Losers Club's friendship feels as close and wholesome as in the original. It's mostly, here's a kid, boom, scary scene, another kid, boom, scary scene, and so on. The way the kids talk to each other.
They sliced the tip of his dick off. Is that how you want to spend your summer? Inside of an arcade? You'd spending it inside of your mother.
It doesn't feel like a group that love each other dearly, and it's the same in part 2 with the grown-ups.
Wait, Eddie, you got married?
Yo, why is it so fucking funny, dickwad?
Fuck you!
The acting is great, but everything turned extreme. The bullies are like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre going to school. They are borderline psychotic, and the stone fight is suddenly turned comedic, which seems out of place. Don't get me wrong, the new version is decent enough, and some of the scare scenes are really nicely done, and the cinematography benefits a lot from the higher budget. But it drags way too much. Worth watching for the great performances, especially from my fellow Scandinavian Bill Skarsgård. Well, now I wanna talk about the old miniseries that was limited to a small 90s budget, but still is near and dear to my heart.
Stephen King's It is a 1990 ABC two-part psychological horror drama miniseries directed by Tommy Lee Wallace and adapted by Lawrence D. Cohen from Stephen King's 1986 novel of the same name. The story revolves around a predatory monster that can transform itself into the prey's worst fears to devour them. Yummy, allowing it to exploit the phobias of its victims. It mostly takes the humanoid form of Pennywise, a demonic clown.
During a heavy rainstorm in Derry, Maine in the spring of 1960, George Denbrough plays in the streets with a paper sailboat made by his stuttering older brother, Bill. It goes down a storm drain where Georgie encounters Pennywise, the dancing clown. Pennywise entices Georgie to reach in to retrieve his boat, only to tear his arm off and leave him to bleed on the street. A few months later, Bill and asthmatic Eddie Kasprek befriends the chubby new kid Ben Hanscom. They are later joined by Beverly Mars, who lives with her abusive father, and she and Ben are introduced to Bill and Eddie's other friends, the comical Richie Tosher and the skeptical Jewish boy Stan Uris. Ben develops feelings for Beverly and sends her an anonymous poem, but she assumes the poem is from Bill and develops feelings for him. At school, by the creek and around town, they are bullied by Henry Bowers and his gang. The children all have grotesque, frightening encounters with Pennywise. In July, the group is joined by Mike Hanlon, an African-American boy. As Bowers' gang chases him, the children now dubbing themselves the Losers Club. They fend off Bowers' gang with rocks. While looking through Mike's history of Derry's school project scrapbook, the losers realize that Pennywise, whom they refer to as It, is not a human being, but an ancient creature that awakens roughly every 30 years to hunt and feed. The Losers Club must grow stronger together and face both their bullies together and the evil entity Pennywise. You can really feel the friendship and the love the group have for each other, which is also a huge theme in the book. Tim Curry is simply amazing as Pennywise. I've seen him in a lot of great stuff, and he's mostly very humorous. But here he is really scary, and the way the film plays on the kids' fears is both scary and psychologically brilliant. That's why the film is pretty scary when you watch it at a young age, because you can really relate to the fears and the horrors the kids go through. So even though that the climax of part 2 isn't very well made because of its budget problems, the film itself as a whole is magical and fantastic in every way. And you can embrace enough how the film touches on the kids' friendship. The whole nostalgia and great location seen with 30 years apart give you that familiar feel. P.S. If you're a fan of the movie and want to know more, check out the awesome documentary Pennywise, The Story of It, which you can stream many places, even for free on Tubi or Voodoo, which is now called Fandango at home, I think. It features a lot of goodies with interviews with the cast and crew, and also went on behind the scenes.
Check it out. Get it.
Maybe I'm just a nostalgic old fart that praises this movie because of my fond memories. I can't tell if young people who watch it today would find it scary. It's not high-paced with special effects all over, but indeed a film with great character development. I simply love it.
It's a scary clown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Stephen King said, definitely a masterpiece. Check it out if you haven't, or rewatch it for the 100th time, just like me. And Necromia?